Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the GW Basketball Insiders. David Korn here, joined by Leo Mamarku, and we have a special guest, assistant coach Matt Colpoys. And before, Matt, we walk you in, I just want to let everyone know about the timeline for sort of the past day for us. So at about 4:30, I text you to ask you if you'd like to come on. You say, of course, and you say, good news could be coming soon. Then at about 7, we hear the news that Boo Boo Benjamin committed. And then at about 8, we hear the news that Tyrone Marshall committed. So a very busy day, very great timing. We had no info about these two commitments before we actually come on, but the timing couldn't be better. How are you doing? How are you feeling after a very busy week or so in the portal?
Yeah, no, feeling really good. It's funny how timing works. And I thought they might post before, but sometimes people don't like the graphics. They need a new graphic, whatever. It takes an extra day or so. So glad I don't have to keep any secrets right now. And things are great right now. And now we've been staying in the gym with our guys even. So like we'll have workouts today with our guys that are returning. So with that, and I keep talking to the new guys. We're done with the roster at this point. So just continue to talk to our guys, get to know our guys. A couple of the guys that committed, Tyrone and Gene, haven't visited yet, so they'll be coming up in the next couple of days. So those visits are way better. It's just like hanging out, getting to know them. You're not like stressed of things. So it'll be great to get those guys here, get them around our guys, continue working with our guys. But definitely a little stress relief to get kind of the roster set and in a good spot. And now the fun part begins. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm sure it's kind of a weight off of all of your sort of collective shoulders now that you've got the roster set, and it's just about, putting all the pieces together now. So, I mean, can you give us an idea of, if you can think back a month or two, what you guys were looking for heading into the offseason and the transfer portal, and kind of, I know it like, as of yesterday, it's now kind of over. So it's pretty recent that it's wrapped up, but like, how do you think you made out thinking about what you guys were looking for coming in and, the results?
yeah, I mean, we're thrilled with where we're at. We're thrilled with the guys that we got. We love the group for our chances to get where we want to go, which is win the league next year. So we think that the group that we brought in is that we kind of filled all the gaps that we needed. We had a great group return, and they helped with our recruiting process. Like our recruiting process was, we wanted guys that like didn't want to come in and have it be about them, and that like we want guys that want to win, and that was the main priority, and that when they win, everyone will elevate, right? The teams that win get more people in all league, get more professional opportunities, get more of that. So that message, and the fact that we played nine guys a lot last year, right? When we weren't hurt, like 9 guys are playing a lot of minutes. So we think that ability to have depth, things happen throughout the years. Guys get hurt. So having depth is super important. And then also just the ability to wear teams out. Some of the best teams in the country, Florida, the team that played a bunch of guys. Like, I think not that we're Florida or anything, but having depth, I think, is super important for when people get hurt, but also the way that we'd like to play and the way that we're like starting to play last year defensively. You can't do it for 40 minutes. Like you just can't give the effort that we need for 40 minutes to play that way. So we think our depth is really strong. And then that adds a level of competition in practice, where like, I mean, our practices are going to be awesome. I can't wait. Like, I think they're going to be super competitive. I feel really good about really every guy on our roster. I'm like, oh, this guy is like, could really help us. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, okay. So you talked about the depth, and this was going to be one of my questions that I really wanted to ask you about. So coming into the sort of portal season with the returners, GW already had a really solid sort of guard rotation going. You had Christian Jones coming back, Trey Autry coming back, Ty Bevins coming back, Trey Moss coming back. And then you go out in the portal and you get 2 more high-level like guards who can have the ball in their hands, Trey Jenkins and Gene Arang. Are we pronouncing that right? Arangaran? Right there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Gene too. I thought it was Johnny. He's like, no, it's Gene. So
okay. So
Gene,
we should have, that was bad on our part. We should have clarified this before, but Gene Arangran. So with Arangran and Dinkins coming into an already sort of crowded guard rotation, sort of what does it say about those guys that they are willing to sort of come in and fight for their minutes and, come into a situation where maybe their spot in the starting lineup isn't guaranteed? And, how do you go about those sort of recruitments, again, where you're sort of pitching guys on a potential role, not necessarily something that's guaranteed?
Yeah, no, I think coach does a great job of just like we want guys that want to compete, want to be a part of something and be a part of winning, and not like that it be about them. And like it speaks to the guys that return for us, because that's the conversation we have with those guys, right? And it speaks to the guys that come in where we don't really guarantee anything to anyone. Now we expect things from guys, right? Like we expect things from both our returners and new guys, for them to perform to a certain level and continue getting better and be coachable and things like that. But yeah, I think it speaks to the different guys that we've brought in, to their character and what that they believe in what we're doing here and the vision that coach has for both them and their career, right? Because I think coach has a big track record of success with getting here. James Bishop and Brendan Adams both play in the NBA Summer League and are all league players, and then go and they're transfers too. So, coach does have a track record of doing well with guard transfers, and we're comfortable playing a lot of guards. Like I think the versatility and the lineup options that we have this year is really exciting for me. It'll be a challenge, but it's exciting because, hey, we can put a lot of guys out there that can go and handle the ball, and we can also pivot the other way and play bigger sometimes maybe. So I think that versatility piece, the guys are kind of just bought into of like, hey, they're going to control the things they can control, go out, compete every day, and be a part of something special, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of talked about that versatility. I mean, that was something that stuck out to me yesterday when I was kind of diving into Boo Boo Benjamin and Tyrone Marshall. By the way, Boo Boo Benjamin is an incredible name. It's an awesome name.
All name. He's gonna be fan favorite.
Yeah,
he plays so hard.
Yeah, no, so that's something that's personally a little pretty exciting to me. But so you kind of talked about the versatility. That was something that stuck out to me about them. How do you see them fitting in sort of the forward rotation? And like, I don't know, is one of them more of like a typical forward and the other like a wing, or what can we expect out of them?
Yeah, they're wing forwards. They're kind of modern that way. Like I think they can both play together on the court, because they're both skilled. But both at 6'6", 6'7", 210, 215. Different ages too, which we like, right? Of like trying to balance out our roster that way, where Tyrone's in his 6th year, Boo Boo's in his 3rd. Boo Boo just took a big jump from year 1 to year 2. Tyrone's been a part of 20 in an NCAA tournament game. Not this past year, the year before for Western Kentucky. So he's kind of been on big stages. But with Boo Boo, he has been coached by Billy Gillespie, who's obviously a great coach, coached a bunch of plays at Kentucky, Indiana, so been coached up really good. And he at his size with his athleticism, he can shoot the 3, he can guard multiple positions, he can get on the offensive glass, he can play the closeouts. He's just a player that fits, I think, with other good players. And then similar with Tyrone, he's played a big role on some really good teams, NCAA tournament teams. And he's super athletic. He can make shots. He gets on the offensive glass. He dunks on people. Like they're big time athletes, and like the way that we play on both sides of the floor, where we defensively are switching a ton, are disrupting people, are taking them out of their stuff. The ability to guard 1 through 4 and even 5 at times is super exciting. Just cover space, because the way that we kind of fly around, you need people to just cover ground. And then offensively, like it should allow us to kind of get back to the way that we played our first 2 years, and even the beginning of this year, where we're like very up tempo. That kind of changed later in the year when we played the 2 bigs more, and Sean and Castro, but it allow us to play a little more up tempo style, and have athletes running up and down the floor, getting out in transition. But then also you even talk versatility. Like we think Luke and Hunger and Castro can play together. And similar where we had some like great success with the Hansen and Castro lineups, like those lineups in the league were awesome for us. Like we think there are games where you might need to play that way too. And so that's where it's exciting. It's a good problem to have, that we have these different lineup questions and how we're going to play in this. It's a lot more complicated, but it's also a good problem to have.
Yeah. So you talked about Castro a bit there. It seems like, again, no matter what sort of happened this offseason, again, he was going to be the focal point of this team. How much of an asset was it just to know you had that sort of solid foundation down low, both just in terms of like you thinking about the roster, and then you're going and talking to these recruits about, or not, I mean, just these transfers about potentially coming there and like playing with a guy like that. Like how huge was that?
No, it was huge. Slim is incredible person. First and foremost, speaks to him with wanting to come back and be a part of what we're doing, and not like waiting till the 11th hour. Like literally locker room after we lose to George Mason, he's like, "Yo, we're gonna win this thing next year." So we didn't. So it allowed us to build, and not just him, but all of our returners. It's been like, "Oh no, we're back." It allows us to like actually plan and build a cohesive roster compared to like see a lot of these places. Guys go in the last night. They thought they're gonna be on their team, and now you're scrambled. So I credit all of our guys with that, with their just like belief in what we're doing and what Coach Caputo's vision is for each of them individually in our team. Castro specifically, it's huge. Like, I mean, every first team all league guys out of the league. They're all gone. I mean, I know you guys believe this. Like, I think he got screwed to not be first team. It's insane.
Yeah.
If you look across the line, it's insane. And like all those guys know there are other really good players. He won every big man matchup in every big game versus all those guys. So like he dominated all those guys head to head. So that's first and foremost. And if you want to do the first place or whatever, or like down the line, like we finished better than some of the guys that finished above him in that. But regardless, we think we have the best player in the league returning. So we think we should have the preseason player of the year. And it's a guy that people like to play with. So like that in the recruiting from a basketball standpoint, like everyone that we recruited is like, yo, I can't wait to play with that guy. Even guys we didn't get are like, yo, like because he can just do he's a lob threat. He can score in the post. He can really pass. He can play in like the short roll and kick it out. He plays at the top of the key and can pass. He switches. He covers up people's mistakes on defense. He blocks shot. Like on the basketball court, there's nothing that guy can't do. And he's incredibly selfless and team oriented and is the same person every day. Like it's such an important piece for us to retain. And then to build this program to where we think we can really take that next jump next year. So I think all the off the court stuff is great. And then he also helps with recruiting. Like he'll text the guys, he'll do whatever we want. He'll come to the dinners, whatever we need from him. He will do. He just wants to win, man. And then the on the course piece, like you just watch the film, some of the film that you can show guys of how it could work is really compelling. And almost every guy's like, yeah, I can't wait to play with that guy.
Yeah, I mean, we had the chance to talk with Trey Dinkins last week, and we asked him, what he was working on this offseason. And the first thing he said was he's working on his like reads, because now that he's playing with a guy like Castro, like a true lob threat, post player like that, like he needs to get that part of his game ready. So that was super exciting for us to hear, to sort of see him like already thinking about like his fit on the team and playing with a guy like Castro. So again, like you said, it could not be sort of a bigger piece. So we've talked a lot about the transfers and the guys coming in. We have a question about one of the guys who's already here, Garrett Johnson. We're just wondering if you have an update on like sort of how he's doing physically. And another thing we've been wondering a lot about is sort of where he fits on this team, like positionally, and whether especially after sort of his injury, you guys see him more as like a 3 or a 4, like a wing or more of a forward, something like that. So just like, what's the latest on Garrett?
Yeah, Garrett, I mean, he's progressing along. He's doing workouts every day. I mean, we're in the gym with him right now every day. He's moving around well. We're hoping to have him back by the time we have some workouts start in about 6 weeks. So the timeline is that we're hoping for him to be able to go by then. If it takes a little longer, again, we're no like it's funny. I got to talk to him all the time about like, because he just wants to go. He hasn't played. He hasn't played in a long time. And even the last 4 years, he hasn't played many games. So he's done so many workouts and he wants to move and he wants to test himself. But like, we got to make sure he's ready to play in November and play November through March, April. We don't need him to be his best version going every single day on June 9th, our first day of summer workouts. So that balance with him, right? That urgent but patient balance of like, hey, you need to do everything you possibly can to get healthy as quick as you can with your rehab. And he's so dedicated. I mean, he's an unbelievable for all the stuff he's going through. For him to go through it and still work the way he works is credit to him. But you do have to have a little bit of patience on the outside of perspective of like, yeah, you don't need to be at your best in June. We need you at your best November through April, and for you to be healthy at that point. So we're hoping to have him for the summer. And then the way he fits, like he's wing forward, kind of whatever you want to call it. I like that, especially with, I think, this team that we have now. Like the position thing is like, a lot of people say positionless, but like we have so many skilled guys that can dribble, pass, shoot. That's kind of like, I think ours will be real next year, where it's like, oh, you just can put out combinations of different people and it's going to be an interesting challenge to figure out how they fit. But a 6'8" guy that shoots 43% from three that can dunk on people, and I think that guy can fit on the court somewhere. So the exact spot, hey, 3-4, I think he can do both. Especially with how much we switch on defense, you got to be able to guard everyone. Like you got to be able to guard every position. So that'll be a test for all of our forwards, right? Because a lot of them haven't done that before. They're used to not guarding point guards as much. So can you go down and can you switch on the guards? That'll be a good thing for him to work on throughout the summer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know kind of last night after the final transfer news broke, I was trying to go in and do a depth chart, and I was like, this seems like an exercise in futility, kind of putting all these guys in specific positions. I'm like, there's like 6 guys here who could probably play like 2 different positions than what I'm listing them as. So like you said, definitely kind of an exciting challenger to have. So we talked a little bit about the transfers coming in. Can you talk for a moment about the 2 freshmen that are coming in, Vinny Chaudhry and Jalen Rogeron, and kind of what you see from them and, how they'll fit, maybe not even this coming year, but, in future years?
Yeah, with Jalen and Vinny, Jalen being a DC guy, been a big part of success. He's coming off an injury where he wasn't able to finish out the season at Sidwell. Had this kind of foot injury bother him throughout the year. So we're hoping to have him healthy. He's planning right now to be ready for summer to start, but coming from a really good program, really well coached, has had a big impact on winning, can really guard, can really shoot, can go and play off the bounce a little bit. And they're bigger. Like they just kind of fit what we need. Both of them do. And then Vinny, on the other hand, hey, he's like 6'7", 6'8", got to fill out his frame, get stronger, hasn't been playing basketball that long, but can really shoot it, can elevate and shoot. And then his game kind of evolves from there of where we got to get better. But like both of them are bigger, can switch, can shoot. Right. And like, that's something that we're really prioritizing in our recruiting, especially at the high school level, of like, can you get bigger players that can switch and can shoot? Because those are hard to find in the transfer portal. So if we're able to bring guys in that we can develop and grow with us, and not have to, again, for every place you need to retain your roster to win. At GW, it's essential with the way that the institution is and us being a highly academic place. Like we can't just take any kid. So our retention is super important. So we still value high school recruiting a ton, and like getting the right guys. They're from winning programs. They're from great families. They're basketball people, and they're very versatile on defense. They can shoot on offense, and we think we can continue to kind of develop their game that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so you mentioned, obviously Jalen went to Sidwell Friends. Sidwell's one of these schools that comes and plays the city champion. If they make it to the city championship, they come and play at GW. Can you talk about like, has that been an asset in recruiting at all? Obviously GW is right in the middle of DC, but like playing I know Darren Buchanan played his city championship at the Smith Center. Does that help at all in recruiting?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, Darren talked about it during his recruitment and throughout it, and he'd still talk about it. I think it helps. Anytime you get people on campus, it helps, and they see what the environment can be. Like, have you guys been to those games ever? Like, it's the high school atmosphere. It's awesome, right? So they have a picture of like, hey, what it can be, and for us, it's the challenge of, hey, when we're good, like you can get this place filled, and that's what we expect for next year.
Yeah, I will say
those type of atmospheres.
It does not hold a candle to the Philadelphia Catholic League semis and final. I'm just saying, you got to go to one of those. It's so much fun.
I haven't been yet. I know. I got to go. I love the Palestra. It's one of the meccas of college basketball. So,
Matt, thoughts on the Palestra as a potential A10 tournament location? Because I know that's been there's been some discourse about that. People don't like sort of the cavernous NBA arena. Thoughts on the Palestra?
Like the company lines, it's nice to play in NBA arenas, but I think being in the Palestra would be awesome. I mean, that place is just such a cool. It's cathedral of college basketball. Like, there's so much history in there. Like, place it Philly's central to the league, kind of like like us, New York. Philly. It doesn't go to Philly for whatever reason. I don't know if there's another tournament that's at
No,
Wells Fargo or why
they-
Philly isn't. I don't really know. I know we go
I don't know.
3-1 and then one out to Pittsburgh. I'm not
Yeah.
really sure why Philly isn't in the mix.
No, it
But
should be.
it's above my pay grade.
Yeah. Fair
Yeah, so sort of switching gears, we've talked a lot about this GW team right now, but I mean, this is probably the craziest time in college basketball to be sort of coming up. Especially, I know you work a lot in like recruiting and transfers and stuff like that. What is it like sort of having to sort of figure out a lot of this stuff on the fly, you know, having all this like unprecedented like news and like settlements breaking all the time? Like, what is it like sort of just being in this space?
Yeah, it's chaotic for sure. It's chaotic. It's this. We've had this. 'Cause we've gotten burned in years past with some like trying to plan for the future.
Yeah.
You know, like I think we've talked about it with like the multi-time transfer when we're bringing a bunch of guys transferring down. We thought we'd have them for 3 years, and the rule changes mid-year, and everyone's eligible. And so like now what we've realized is like, hey, you need to. You can't completely forget about the future and the horizon, but we got to try and build the best team for next year. Like, and that's got to be priority one above all else. Of like, how do we build the best team possible for next year, while not sacrificing like, and you don't want 11 grad transfers and old people, but you got to try and do that. I think on a 1-year timeline, and you know, it's been nice that like have Michael Lippett's here, new AD. He helps a ton with that. He's really in the know in that space, having the law degree and that background. He's helped us with just like, hey, this is the next thing. This is what I think will happen. Like, and we're not going to hold his feet to the fire if he's wrong about one thing or the other, but like he lets us know what he expects to happen with each court case, and kind of us then being able to strategically talk through how does that affect us and change, because the rules are going to keep changing. Like, you just need if you just get mad about that the rules change, like that's fine. You're going to play a losing game. Like, the rules are going to keep changing. The court cases are far from over. They're going to keep happening. Like, dude, there could be a rule change in July where all these guys have a 5th year and they're immediately eligible, and like there's a second portal craze. Like, that could happen. There's still with all that being said, it's great that we have Michael to help with that process, and then that now we're kind of the time horizon I think to think about has got to just shift a little bit of like, you got to prioritize this next year's team above all else, and how do we get that team as good as possible, and then figure out what the rules are next year, and then like, hey, don't complain about them, right? Like, they are what they are. The rules are what they are. The NCAA's won like 1 court case in like 10 years, so I don't like their odds. So you just got to keep adapting and trying to play the game within the changing rules.
Yep. I mean, that's, I think, the only kind of perspective you can have. I mean, I have to ask, in that similar vein, I have to ask about your thoughts on this Fordham situation that has kind of broken in the last few days, where they're like, you know, spending $30 too much at the bowling alley, and like, you know, buying Giants and US Open tickets and renting jet skis and getting in trouble for that, when there's, you know, schools probably on a bigger scale that are doing things that many people would consider less permissible than that and are not getting punished for it. So, I mean, obviously Fordham is, you know, in the same league as you guys. So what were your just kind of thoughts on that whole situation?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Like, one thing I like, there's not too many moving forward hindrances to their recruiting, and like the things which I appreciate, because it's new staff and like new administration, really. With their AD going to St. John's, so some of those punishments I think sometimes can be silly, which we've seen in the past, where it's like you're just ruining this new coach and new administration, and they didn't do anything. Now I get that you're messing with the institution at that level. So, but yeah, it's unique. I think there's so many different things going on. It's just hard. Like, Do the rules seem antiquated? Yes. Like with the amount of money that is now in college basketball and college athletics, does it seem a little silly sometimes that that you only have so much money you can spend on entertainment and things while they're there, and you be careful with gifting things and where you take photos and what's in public and what's not. Like, sure, the issue is like there just becomes this slippery slope then of like, which there already is a big difference, right? Between there's haves and have-nots. There's programs that are spending tons of money, there's programs that aren't spending any, but that just is one more area where it can filter into if you eliminate all the rules, right? Where you can start to do some insane things, which places would do, right? And like, so I kind of actually like that there's like rules around some of this stuff. Like it makes the visits more keeping the main thing, right? Of like, hey, come see the school, meet the staff, meet the players. Like in DC, there's a ton to do. It's great. Like we can have long visits and like entertain people for a while, but we kind of try and keep it to a lot of just what your day is going to be like, which is like, you're going to be around us a ton. Here's how you fit basketball wise. Here, hang out with the guys. Here's how you fit with them. Like we have great people here. Like get to know the academic people, get to know our training staff, and like get out of here. So we like to do that. So I actually kind of appreciate that there is rules around it, but they do seem a little antiquated, and it kind of sucks for Fordham.
Yeah, I just remember I saw Ergo say in the New York Post, like, I'm glad it's all out there so people can see exactly what I was being investigated for. And so it was nothing like, anyway, but anyway, New York better than DC better than New York, because if you're taking guys around here, monuments, all free. Smithsonian's, all free. So you guys are you guys are in the clear there. So Matt, again, you've been so generous with your time today. So thank you so much. Just one more thing for us. I mean, again, really exciting in the portal. Really exciting with these guys returning. What is sort of your pitch to fans who maybe have gotten a little frustrated with GW over the past few years? And what's your pitch about, this sort of new era of GW basketball and why they should be all in?
Yeah, and one, like, just the people that we have in this building are awesome. Like, returners returning, like, it speaks to them, and they care about the place. Like, they're invested in this place. They want to be a part of it. Whole coaching staff coming back. Like, we all want to, like, make this thing happen, because we know what this place has been and can be, right? Like, team was awesome from 1990 to 2015. And that place is sold out. You Barack Obama in there, President Clinton in there. Like, some of the old videos, right, of them sitting on the rim, standing on the table after some of the wins in there, like, are awesome. And the place you're in a great location. And now I think, I hope that this year with this team that we've kind of put together, that we can take the jump for everyone around and like really go to try and win the league. Because I know that plays into it too, of having that, and hopefully we're gonna have some more better games in there this year as well that people want to come to and be a part of. But the fans it's a huge thing. I mean, they help us win games. That place is different when there's big games in there. Like, it's different, for sure. So the support, we got to build that up too, right? Coach talks about it all the time of like, since day one, since I got here, of like, you got to compete at every level in the program in terms of like the facilities, the staff size, the way you travel, the way you eat, the way, like, that home atmosphere is part of it. And there's some great home atmospheres in our league, right? That like we compete against in recruiting and on the day of the game, right? Like we got to compete in that area. We've been okay in there. We haven't been as good as your Daytons, your VCUs. Like we got to make the jump next year. Just like we think we made a jump with this roster. Like over the last 2 years, we think we've made big jumps with the roster and our reasonable expectations to what we can expect. So like, hey, we got to make a jump in that area too, where we get this to be one of the best home court environments in the league.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you mentioned people coming into the Smith Center and maybe, there being some stronger opponents. I mean, can you talk about maybe the change in the philosophy this year, now that you have this talent and now that there's these expectations that, you guys are going to be towards the top of the league? Kind of what is the non-conference scheduling philosophy looking like this year, compared to in years past, especially at the kind of very beginning of your time?
Yeah. Yeah, we're working through it now. Eric, Sebastian, and Coach are talking to everyone. We're talking to everyone just about the analytics behind scheduling, because our scheduling is going to be different this year, and the priorities are a little different. Now, getting teams to play us is really hard, and everyone talks about that. Like people, high majors that don't have a lot of reasons to play a team like us. So it's difficult, but we're calling everyone. Now it's switched to that as our main priority. We met about it yesterday and kind of went through and mapped it out. And I think the event in the Caymans will be good. You have 3 really good, like mid-major, like top 150 type mid-major programs. William and Mary coming in here for the 50th anniversary of Smith Center. And Brian Earl's really good coach. Hanson played for him. They're gonna take a jump. They were pretty good last year, where I think they ended up around 200. But I think they're gonna take a jump and be good. I bet Old Dominion will take a jump with Mike Jones in year 2. So those are 2, I think, really good return games for us, where they're coming back here. And then, hey, we're trying to find a couple other, going on the roads, trying to find some high major team. We're trying to get 2 high major teams to play us anywhere. So it's hard to find, but we're calling everyone. We think it'll help us challenge us and shoot. Hey, it's hard to schedule and get an at-large bid in this league, but we think that we owe it to our guys and to our administration and to you guys and the entire people that we think that we have a team that is capable of doing that. So we want to schedule that way this year. So we're trying. We're on the phones calling everyone, trying to get people to play. So
yeah, I know it's a lot easier than a lot of people would like to think it is. It's just why don't they have a better schedule? Why don't they have a better schedule? And it's because no one wants to play, a school like GW. It's a kind of a lose-lose for a lot of these places. So.
Probably doesn't help when they can see what happened the last time a high major came in here at South Carolina.
True.
South Carolina, that was awesome. That was awesome.
But yeah, that was a fun night. So yeah, Matt, thank you so much again for joining us. We really appreciate it. And looks like the transfer portal's done. This is a really exciting few weeks for GW fans. And yeah, just really appreciate you hopping on, breaking it all down with us.
No, of course, guys. I appreciate all you guys do. Appreciate you guys following the program, putting stuff out. It's important. All the stuff that you guys do is important, and we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, awesome.
There we go.
Sounds good.
Love it.
Awesome.
Thank you, Matt. Have a good one.